Hi there folks, hope you've all had enough time for painting recently. Well, I know I have, and hope you're all keeping well as well. It was a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of an odd time really, isn't it? I think a lot of people are home at the moment and it's just, yeah, very odd. I've been cracking on with painting. I suppose that's all you can do. I've got lots of military history to read, but you know, it doesn't take, I'm not going to sit down and do that all day either, so I think I'm just going to try and keep some sort of semblance of a daily routine, and yeah, lots of painting for other people as well, like commissions and the like. And if I run out of those, then I can always well, paint up sort of figures that I've bought maybe second hand and then sell those on as well, so you know if there's a market for it. But I suppose plan B after all of that then would be paint up my own collections. You know, there's plenty in the Lead Mountain that needs doing. To the well, these are Wellington's Mountain himself and his sort of command staff. There's Picton as well, and some other interesting characters. Uxbridge to the left there. I might show off some of these because I'm not sure if I am happy with these. I've done a nice little job on them, but I don't know, foundry figures. They are foundry figures. They're very nice actually, but I don't know. You're always your harshest critic as well. Yeah, they're nice. There's I would buy them myself. I think the figures. So that's Uxbridge. I really like the Dragoons Guard officer. The grass mix, I put a little bit of purple. I'm not sure what you'd call that. It's not a tuft. It's a very fine like sprinkle thing. You get a big pot of it, and you can have all sorts of different colours. I'm not sure it's like dyed sawdust or something. But I've put mixed that in a little bit. Purple stuff it is. It's the Wellington command staff then. Yeah, there's still a bit of a sheen on the figures, but I think that's because they were glossed initially. I take it these are going to be used for wargaming, so at least they've been glossed and matted, so nice and scratch proof. Probably my favourite stand here. Picton and the Prussian aide de camp. Picton, a bit of an interesting character. I painted the eyes on him there. There we go. Grey horse I'm particularly happy with actually. And last of all, I think I'll be moving on to the English Civil War now, because that's a big commission for me, by someone in England actually. I had a few commissions from sort of people in the different counties of England. I'm starting to get to know the English counties better than the Welsh counties just by the postcodes and things, by sending things off. But yeah, I think sending things up north, I think, you know, Lincolnshire and all those sort of counties that were unfamiliar to me. Regardless, these are my first foray into the Spanish Civil War. Really nice figures. They are the Foreign Legion. I think I might have made a mistake. I have seen them painted in so these field blue tunics, but more commonly I think they're like a dust yellow, I suppose, or like a beige. So I'm not sure if in future I'll probably paint the Foreign Legion the more common colour and have these just mixed in then, because I don't particularly fancy painting them again. But I have seen them, you know, in this sort of more odd colour. I'm not sure whether that was just a manufacturing oddity or something, or maybe I might have had it sort of horrifically wrong, but they're in the right gear, and I think the trousers are correct as well. Really nice Paul Hicks sculpts. All the English Civil War stuff that I'm about to paint now are mostly Paul Hicks sculpts, which I was quite surprised at. I didn't know that he'd done English Civil War metals, but there seems to be enough of his old metals that you could probably do an English Civil War force, you know, just with his old metals. The plastics I'm not convinced with. I think those are old games again. those are the plastics. I'm slowly making a start on those. And you've got your like Warlord Games metals, those are a little bit nicer then. So yeah, just adding base colours and things, and then there we go, there's the English Civil War militia then, quite nice. So just working through base colours, sort of muted colours here, nothing special for the militia at least, and then I'll be doing Covenanters as well. So I'm trying to follow the client's instructions quite carefully there. The sculpts are really nice actually. I'll show those when they're a bit further on I think, but just a teaser there. I've just put some sand on just to give some texture, you know, and then I just do brown paint and some dry brush that up. I might show you some of the Spanish Civil War figures if you indulge me. There's a attempt at a sort of plaid blanket there. That'll focus in. Perhaps it won't. I'll have to double check my matte varnish. It is quite a nice one. It's ultra matte varnish, but it might be, you know, that I'm using the same brush for my gloss and matte. I should probably keep those separate. Seems to be a bit of like gloss residue left over. But yeah, just a section really and 2 officers. If I bought some more of these I'd probably just get riflemen. You don't actually need that many officers for a chain of command or bolt action, unless you're fielding several platoons, you know. So there we go. Really nice figures, and they paint up really quickly. I did these in a day. Just had an afternoon off and I painted those up fairly quickly. English Civil War stuff, I've had a few hours now of prepping the figures themselves. There's chunks of flash on them, so I went in with like a knackered old Stanley knife, and then sort of hobby knife then for the mould lines themselves. But they're all cleaned up. They've had a wash, which just gets rid of the oils from your fingers and any sort of factory residue. So that is quite an important step. So they'll all dry off tonight now. Really nice figures. They're looking much better for having had a bit of a scrub with a toothbrush and some warm water and soap. And they're just going to dry off now. Tomorrow is great weather for priming, so they'll be primed grey. I need to get a few cans of black because I'm quite tempted to move to priming and painting it from a black, well, original, you know, prime coat, base coat, because it's quite nice for painting metals and flesh and things. But then there's pros and cons, you know. To get your nice lighter colours, it does move things down a bit. So it's something to experiment with anyway. I won't ramble on too much, but there's more than enough painting for me to do. I hope you're all keeping busy and maybe painting up some of the lead mountain. Who knows, maybe after the end of this sort of period we will have no lead mountains to speak of, if that sort of myth is even possible. We'll have to see. Somehow I think we'll never reach the end of the lead pile, or I suppose it's a pewter pile now, isn't it, these days. But yeah, I'll keep you all posted, folks. Keep painting and keep sane if you can. I don't know what the advice is in your areas, but I suppose get fresh air if possible, and at a safe distance from other people. Yeah, seems strange saying it, but there we are. Okay, all the best, folks. Ta-ra.